Hey, if you're enjoying the content here at Dennis Sperling Unfiltered, make sure you support it by sharing, and subscribing to the channel. And also, hit that little notification bell in the corner so that you'll get notice of each and every one of our live feeds. Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Dennis Sperling. I'm back. I'd like you guys to hit the number one button. Let's go ahead and hit the number one button. Let me know you can hear me. And we're going to have a conversation that I think is probably one that's going to be repeated on several occasions because we're going to, at this time, examine the effect of Kevin Samuel's teachings. Now, here's the thing. Man said a lot. He said a lot to a lot of people, and not everybody feels the same way as Black people feel. Now, what I've noticed, and I think this is fair to say, Black folks are on the fence about Kevin Samuels. We haven't quite decided whether or not we like him or not because many of you haven't made your decision, just because the fact of the matter is, it's not acceptable in all circles to have liked Kevin Samuels. Just like back in the day, liking Malcolm X and liking Martin Luther King was something that was subject to question. And the question was whether or not, it was approved. And so here we are. Okay. Now, the first thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and set up a poll if I can, because I want to know what you guys think. All right. So the poll is here. And the question is, who loved Kevin Samuels more? Now, I know Kevin's, a lot of his fans are here, and I know you all are missing him. Normally, I'm not up this late at night, and don't expect me to be. I have court appearances to make oftentimes, so I won't, and I have to get up early. But this is for everybody. Who loved Kevin Samuels the most? Who loved Kevin's work the most, really? So we'll put that in there. Who loved Kevin Samuels' work the most? Okay, us. And so, or did we? Let me see. Did we love? I guess that's how I should put that. Did we love Kevin Samuels? Did we love Kevin Samuels to work the most? Because see, here's the thing. Like many of our leaders, what's going to happen is his great works are now part of the ethos. And so people are going to begin to absorb that into their philosophy, into their way of thinking. Do we love Kevin Samuels the most? This is a question that Black people have to ask yourselves. Because see, right now, it looks like the vast, and this is not true, but the loud screaming minority would have you believe that this man was controversial and he was hated amongst Black people. But the truth is, that's just a loud screaming minority. The vast majority of Black people, especially those who are older, those who are not in Generation X, those who are not millennials, those who are who come from a different time, they actually love Kevin Samuels. And then, of course, the guys love Kevin Samuels. So, well, at least the real men do. The real men who said, yeah, they appreciated what he did and what he taught them. And this is not me talking. This is Black men talking. But here's a crazy thing, and we'll deal with this right now. I think Kevin Samuels was loved more by his non-Black fan base than his Black fan base. I'm just saying it, and we'll talk about that. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and get this going. Hit the number one button if you can hear me. Hit the KS button in memory of Kevin Samuels. Remember, the memorial is coming up tomorrow, so I would like to invite all of you guys here. Please subscribe to the channel. You probably should subscribe to the channel now if you haven't already. But this is going to hurt some feelings, brothers and sisters, because his white fan base, his Asian fan base, his Latino fan base, they love Kevin Samuels because that's what their culture teaches them. And see, here's another thing you got to understand. I get why African American women are mad. See, I understand why the lovely ladies are mad. They're mad because the cat is out of the bag, right? The rest of the world now understands what Black American men have been talking about. They saw firsthand for 2.5 years every night for 2 or 3 hours. They saw it, they saw what Black men were talking about. They saw what we were dealing with. They saw the delusion amongst our women, the narcissism, the unreasonableness, right? The overbloated egos, the unrealistic expectations, and the disrespect that Black men have had to deal with for decades. Okay? We all understand, why Black American women are applauding the death of Kevin Samuels. Not all, just those who are. It's because his nightly broadcast exposed the delusional state that they were in. Now, Kevin Samuels, um, we know he meant well to Black people. He wanted Black people to get together. He wanted Black families. He specifically wanted Black men to get married to Black women. But either way, whether they married out or whatever, he wanted Black men to marry feminine, beautiful, inspirational women. That was his thing. Now, the thing about it is, that's a good thing. And the whole world saw firsthand how a typical Black American man was treated when he interacted with Black American women of a certain age. Now, oftentimes, we would see that Black American women who were younger, women who were, he didn't talk to them for the most part. He would give women that age, say, go talk to your father. If a woman was 24 years or under, oftentimes Kevin would politely speak to them, especially young Black girls. He would speak to them very politely and often tell them that this conversation is not for you. We've seen him do that, haven't we? Right? Hit the KS button if you saw how polite he was to the young girls when they called in and say, this conversation is not for you. Kevin was directed his conversation to Black American women of a certain age, or as he referred to it, post-wall. That's what he would do. You see? Now that Black women and their narcissism has been exposed to the world, I predict, and you can be mad at me if you want to, but I predict that other women, you guys are not going to like this. This is going to be painful. But other women from other races are, they're going to begin to openly criticize Black American women. They are. And you don't believe me? Let me give you a taste of what I saw here. I want you guys to check this out. This is a screenshot of a what appears to be a Twitter page. And this young lady says this. This is a tweet from this young Latina woman. She says, as a Latina woman, not everything here is sex tourism. Y'all, Black American women, treat your men like SHIT and then get mad when they go somewhere else and fall in love with someone that actually takes care and treats them well. Go to therapy, to the gym, and stop being a hater. This is from April 27, 2022. I've never heard women from other groups criticize Black women like that. But I want you guys to look at the language. Notice the language in this tweet. Go to therapy? Where do you think she got that from? Where do you think that came from? How did this young woman who's apparently lives in a foreign country, how did she pick up the idea that Black American women need to go seek therapy or need to go to the gym? I mean, if she's in a foreign country, how often has she been to America? But this is language that Kevin Samuels would often say. So the cat is out of the bag now. There's no longer any secrets. This is what we're looking at. And you can easily tell it's because she heard Kevin say it over and over again for the past 2.5 years, period. So again, I understand why Black American women are applauding the death of my friend. I understand, I get it. He hurt your feelings, right? But here's the thing you ladies have to understand. You lovely, wonderful, fantastic, and beautiful ladies, have got to understand that there is no going back. Either you ship up and shape up, or you ship out. That's what's happening now. So hit the KS button. Hit the KS button. Let's keep this algorithm popping. Okay. Now, I'm not here to belittle anybody. I don't even give relationship advice. I am somebody who studies social effect. And Kevin Samuels was a phenomenon. I didn't know. I mean, he's just my friend. I knew he was good at what he did. But in death, people also often become larger than they were. People who took people for granted, um, like myself, because it's just my friend. I figured we'd be around hanging out with each other another 20 years doing business. We had a plan to make $100 million together. We were all going to get together and start doing, broadcasting. Hey, let's sell this product this week, whatever. Didn't happen, and whatever. It's over, But the bottom line is we still have to study the phenomenon of his work, right? So just because Kevin Samuels is passed, that doesn't mean black men are going to go back to the way things were. Fellas, are you going to go back to the way things were? Huh? If you're willing to go back to the way things were, type yes. If you fellas aren't willing to go back to the way things were before Kevin Samuels came out and explained to you your social market, your sexual marketplace value, type no. Let me know. Are you going to go back under the thumb of the matriarchy now? The cat's out of the bag, right? I don't think black men are going to go back to quietly taking abuse and disrespect. I believe now men are going to say, hey, don't cut me off. Hey, I'm speaking now. Show some respect. You're acting masculine. And at some point when they realize, hey, you're not going to, okay, I'm out. Or I'm going to cut you off. Or I'm leaving. I'm hanging up the phone or I'm leaving. You see? I don't think black men are going to allow women in general or black women to cut them off while they're in mid conversation. That strong, silent prototype that popped up to try to get men to shut up, I think that's a wrap now. I think that's over. Okay. And here's another one, dealing with women who they know don't qualify to be with them. Kevin told us the type of women that don't qualify. Now, whether you agree or not, it's out there in the ethos. Women with children outside of wedlock, single mothers, they don't always qualify for high value men. Or as Kevin would argue, you got a slim chance in hell, basically. Women over the age of a certain age, I think 30 or 35. I believe he referred to something in between 27 and 35 or something like as the danger zone. Um, that doesn't mean you don't qualify for some men. And, that's why Kevin focused so much talking to these women, because you qualify for certain men, you just don't qualify for the top-notch high value men. I think that's what the whole point was. And people got offended. Women got offended by that. First of all, because they didn't understand what a high value man was. It's different, 7 different components. And we talked about it the other night. Right? We got that. And that's just something they have to deal with. You don't qualify for this type of man. You do qualify for that type of man. But, if you don't get with one of these guys, you're going to probably live out the rest of your life by yourself. That was his whole point. But my point here is that men are not going to go back. And where it was a seller's market, i.e. black women especially, could choose whatever man they wanted. The market is now is closed. Okay. Prior to the phenomenon known as Kevin Samuels, it was a seller's market, meaning black American women in the black American community had a monopoly on black men, irrespective of their status and his status. Right. But because Kevin Samuels came in and gave us the definition of high value man, and Blue Henry, shout out to all the Blue Henrys, because Kevin really appreciated our hardworking blue collar men. So shout out to all the blue collar guys, right? But because these high value men and these Blue Henrys, they know their sexual marketplace value now. So these men will be demanding a better deal for their time and energy and resources. That's not going to change. You're not going to go back. Okay, I hate to tell you, it's not going to change. Now, here's another phenomenon, and this is going to be something that I find really interesting. Um, over the past week, I've received hundreds of emails, inbox messages, phone calls from people telling me how sad and distraught they were at the loss of Mr. Kevin Samuels. Now, here's an interesting thing. What I found is a large part of these responses, a large part of this were non-black, non-African, non-African American. Okay. So Kevin Samuel's fan base and admirers are largely people of other races and cultures and even nationalities. Remember, this guy was worldwide. This is not some local television station like Walter Cronkite. No, this is YouTube. This is worldwide. And so, by my estimation, after giving it some thought, Kevin Samuel's fan base is largely non-black people. Think about it. There's only 40 million black people in America. The world is composed of 8 billion people, more or less. So he may have, a large following in the United States amongst black folks, but my God, the man was in Australia. He was in Europe. He was in India. He was in Africa. He was everywhere. And what I'm telling you is that he was loved and admired, and his fan base is larger amongst the Asian population, the white, Hispanic, and Arab population, and everything in between than it is in black Americans in the United States. And this is probably the reason why, instead of referring to black women in most of his topics, he started saying modern women. Did you notice that? Did you notice that's what Kevin did? He said modern women. He used out that phrase, modern women. And although he may have been loosely referring to black women in some occasions, and that's who called in oftentimes, he said modern women. You see that? So even Kevin probably knew that his fan base had increased exponentially. And the reason I say that is because all YouTubers, all people, anybody in media, they analyze their demographics. And I think what Kevin did was he analyzed his demographics and he realized that he had a larger contingent of people following him who were non-black. And being the smart businessman that he was, he began to adapt his broadcast to appease that audience. And in doing so, he began to talk about general principles of relationships between men and women. So, what I'm saying is, although Kevin started with us here in the black community and teaching black folks, his philosophy, his teachings had expanded far beyond this tiny black American community, far beyond the nation of the United States. It had reached the entire world. And so now he belongs to the ethos. Now he belongs to everybody who is within earshot. In addition, I found that overall, we as black people are divided. And this is a problem. Okay? We as black people are divided about Kevin Samuels. So this is an article I want you guys to check out, right? Look at this. Can you guys see that? Let me know if you can see this article that's up here. I want y'all to let me know if you can see that article. Hit the number 1 button, right? This says Kevin, this is from NBC News. This is what it says. It says Kevin Samuels' death raises a simmering debate between black men and women. Now that seems pretty innocuous, right? This is, okay, simmering, yeah, he's done that, right? What that doesn't say, notice what that doesn't say is that Kevin Samuels' death raises a simmering debate between men and women, because to do so would imply that there's a debate to be had. In effect, what this article is saying by not saying is that these people from these other, these people from these other cultures know what he said is true and good for them. And it's the same thing their cultures teach them. Unfortunately, our culture here in Black America has become so toxic and, and tainted because of it starts with an F word, right? But I'll call it the philosophy of strong Black womanism. Phase 1, 2, 3, and 4 has so tainted the minds of our ladies that the culture is beginning to turn in on itself. You see? So largely, and this is what I find, and I'm telling you, I've been receiving these calls, and I had a gentleman today shock the hell out of me. I'm at my son's jujitsu tournament. Those of you guys who follow my page, you see I put a picture up of my boy winning, but I'm at my boy's jujitsu tournament. And what I saw, I was having a good time, and then out of the blue, one of his coaches, an Asian man, came up to me and said, I saw you on TV the other night. I didn't realize that you knew Kevin Samuels. I didn't realize how close you guys were. I didn't know. I'm a huge fan. I tell every man that I know, especially young men who don't have fathers, to follow Kevin Samuels. This is an Asian man. He said that Kevin Samuels was the most important Black leader in his lifetime. He wasn't like this is what this Asian guy is telling me, man. And here's the crazy thing. I've received testimonials from men who are not Black who are saying the same thing. They're saying our Kevin Samuels, who most of y'all ignored, was the most important leader in the Black community in the past 50 years. This is what other people are saying about this guy. I didn't think that. I mean, come on, hey, Kevin, with the guy with the perfume, the guy with the cologne and the suits. They're saying that this man is the most important. I got one guy who is a prominent member of the manosphere who's saying that Kevin Samuels, white guy, you guys know him, Sandman. He says that Kevin Samuels is like the Martin Luther King of the Black manosphere. That's saying a lot. So what I want you guys to understand is this is the way other races have perceived Kevin Samuels. And even though we're taking him for granted, like we can take him or leave him, they're going to take those philosophies. What I find is that largely people from other races are overwhelmingly, they understand and accept and realize that the information, the philosophy, and the teachings that he was speaking was good for their families and good for their nations. In this regard, I have to ask myself, who loved Kevin Samuels more? In the inverse, who hated Kevin Samuels more? Right? And although this poll reads overwhelmingly that we do, right? And I know you guys do because most of y'all are Kevin Samuels followers. That's why you guys love him. But look at what's going on in the newspaper. Look at what's going on some of these periodicals. Not only are they attacking Kevin Samuels, they're attacking anybody that he hung out with, anybody that was related to him, anybody that they can. So what does that tell you? It looks to me like there was a lot of hate for Kevin Samuels. Now, again, so what does that tell you? Click that off. This poll says this. This is your poll. Now, see, the problem is you don't have a whole lot of Kevin Samuels haters on this page because I ran them off. But it says, we love Kevin Samuel. Oh, Lord Jesus. Let me get up out of there. I lost my screen. It says, we love Kevin Samuels more, right? It says that we love Kevin Samuels the most. And the answer was yes. Who loves, or who do we love Kevin Samuels the most? The answer was 88% yes and 12% no. But what I'm finding is that that's not true. It's impossible because he had fans all over the world and we're only 40 million deep. A lot of us didn't know about him. So what does that mean? That means that we're outnumbered. That's what that means. You see? Now, I know that he was loved by Black Americans, but the response that we've seen in the media, from Black people, both men and women, shows that there's a split amongst Black Americans. However, when you ask his non-Black fan base, the vast majority of them overwhelmingly appreciated his work. So what that tells me is that his other fans who are not bound by the Black codes that we follow, who are not socialized in Black homes, who are not bound by the matriarchy of lovely ladies, what that tells me is that they're going to take his work and they're going to absorb it and they're going to benefit from Kevin Samuels' labor. And we, because we're on the fence and undecided and divided as to whether or not we like him or don't like him, love him or hate him, we're going to lose out. And that's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. In a few years, those same Kevin Samuels doctrines, sayings, teachings will be absorbed into those other cultures to their benefit. And guess what? And it was this culture that it was intended for, and we've rejected it. And so because of that, we'll continue to deteriorate. So the question that I have for tonight is, who loved Kevin Samuels more? Who hated him more, Black people or non-Black people? And what does that say about Black people if we love our own less than people of other groups? That's the question that I have for you guys. That's the question. And I think it's an important question. If you guys think that's an important question, right? Hit the poll up. Let me know. Let's keep this poll going. I want to know. Now, I'm going to take a quick break, but first I want you guys to really see these videos that I find astonishing. These testimonials. And I'm not going to run them all, but I want you to check out a couple of them. I want you to check out some and you tell me what you think. Because y'all thought, oh, that's Kevin Samuels. That's just our old dog. We kick him around when we want to. And that's the dude with the cologne and the perfume. We just, we're not worried about him. But, I don't think so. I don't think Kevin belongs to us like we think he does. You understand me? And I think that if we don't do something about it, we're going to lose out. So check this out real quick. I'm going to let you hear this gentleman. Listen to this. All right. I want you guys to hear what this guy is saying. If I can get it up, get this thing going. Having some issues. Hit the KS button, man. Hit the KS button. Shout out to the DR. They say they love Kevin Samuels. And I welcome all. If you're a Kevin Samuels fan, hit the KS button. I want to do if you're one of my old school fans from back in the day, hit the #1 button. I need to know. I need to know who's in the house, man. Because now I got 2 audiences to please. Normally what I do is I just I got my own routine, but I'm trying to give you guys what you're missing out on. This is Aaron Hankins. He's a politician from San Francisco. Hear him out, y'all. Check this out.
Shout out to Kevin Samuels, the most important voice in Black America in the last 50 years. Thank you. Because of you, this past year, I've lost 60 pounds.
Did you hear what this gentleman said? The most important voice in Black America in the past 50 years. That is a A phenomenal statement. Shout out to Aaron Hankins. Thank you so much, Aaron. I appreciate you. And you will make the memorial tomorrow. His mom will see you, but and I certainly appreciate everyone who sent in their videos. But did you hear what Aaron Hankins said? Let me run that back by you again. This gentleman, who is clearly not black unless he's fooling the hell out of me, said that Kevin Samuels is the most, and this is a councilman, Kevin Samuels is the most.
Thank you. Because of you, this past year, I've lost 60 pounds. I joined a boxing gym. I actually bought my very first book in the San Francisco airport. I even picked up some signature scents thinking about you, man. I got the Aqua de Gio and got the Blue de Chanel. Also changed up a little bit of my wardrobe, and starting I actually hired for the first time ever a personal trainer, and also for the first time I jumped on Patreon to give back. So thank you, Kevin. Thank you for what you've done. I appreciate all your advice, and hope to keep your spirit alive. We will win on the optics and the emotions. Thanks. Shout out to.
Did you guys hear that? This is not the only one that I've received. I received dozens of these. It was to the point I had more non-black videos than videos from black people. They love Kevin Samuels. And it's not just white dudes. Okay? Like Kevin Samuels changed some of these people's lives. I got another guy I want you to check out. Okay? And shout out to Aaron. Thank you so much, Aaron Hankins. You will be played tomorrow. It's crazy to me. Listen to this young man. Listen to what these men, these are white men telling you this. And oftentimes you don't miss what you had until it's gone. I want you guys to hear what this gentleman is saying. Okay? Shout out to Kevin Holmes. Thank you so much for this heartfelt video. And his mother will see
Kevin
it.
Holmes here from Minneapolis, Minnesota. For the past year, Kevin Samuels taught me more masculine common core values to have as a man than my poor single mother ever could teach me. I didn't have a father growing up because my mom divorced him when I was in first grade due to him being an alcoholic. I didn't have any brothers or many other people I could go to and talk about things that Kevin Samuels explained to me clearly. His brilliance didn't just relate and have an impact on the Black community, but to all communities. It's disappointing.
Did you hear that? His brilliance didn't just have an effect on the Black community, but all community. This young man from the Midwest, this young white guy, young white kid, saw Kevin Samuels as his godfather, as his uncle. And you folks here, right here, who have him, who've had among you, you can't decide whether or not you appreciate him enough to like him. You've been told not to even say his name. And I'm talking to you black guys. You've been told not to even say his name. And here you got this young man, Kevin. Thank you so much, Kevin. I'm going to make sure that his mom sees you too, because this is heartfelt. I'm telling you all that there are more white, Asian, Hispanic, Arab, Central Asian, Indian fans of Kevin Samuels than there are black fans, and they really love him. So I appreciate your poll, and you guys are saying to the tune of 80% you love him, but the vast majority of Kevin Samuels fans are non-white because they recognize, in the DR too, shout out to the DR, because they recognize what he was teaching them was truthful. Here's the thing. We've had a lot of leaders. We've had Al Sharptons and the Martin Luther Kings and all of that, but we've never had a leader like Kevin Samuels, who's a teacher who specifically focused on relationships And in a time when we need it right now, there's a gender war that's been going on for 40 years. And Kevin was the only one of our leaders that actually dealt with it. The rest of them were telling men to suck it up and take it. And that wasn't working, was it? It wasn't working. Them shut up and take it, be a man. That's what these pro-black panderers are telling you. Oh, men just need to be men. Aren't they telling you that? You hear them saying it right now. They don't criticize a woman. Pick these baby mamas up. You need to marry these baby mamas. That's what they were telling you. And Kevin was like, no, you don't qualify for a high value man. They were trying to convince multimillionaire guys who've worked their whole life, sacrifice the Blue Henrys of the world, the high value men, to go ahead and get you one of these baby mamas who got a baby, who has a thug for a baby daddy, some low value, no good guy. But this young white kid, right? Listen, let's hear out the rest of what he has to say. And Kevin, thank you so much. I'm going to let Kevin play. Let me start him right back here. This is what Kevin is saying. Listen.
That Kevin Samuels explained to me clearly. His brilliance didn't just relate and have an impact on the Black community, but to all communities. It's disappointing that Kevin's candidness was interpreted as misogyny and hate, when it was his attempt to bridge back together long-lasting, loving, and trusting relationships that today's society has seemed to forgot what it takes to maintain.
Did you hear what this young man said? He's saying the same thing I've been telling you guys on television and on all these different places. You see what I'm saying? He's saying the same thing. Kevin was trying to bring back long-lasting relationships. This is what Kevin was trying to do. Why is it that this young white fella from Minnesota, Wisconsin, the Midwest, why is it he can see that, but our lovely ladies in the Black community and a lot of Black men say, oh no, he was just bashing Black women? Why is it this white kid can see that? And this is a young man, thoughtful enough to listen. Why is that? Why is that? And why are you allowing these women to continue spreading these lies about what Kevin Samuels' work was about? Thank you so much, Kevin. Again, Kevin Holmes, I appreciate you. I'm gonna make sure you get in to the memorial tomorrow because his mom needs to see that. And see, here's the crazy thing. That's not it. Let me give you another one. This is what I've been dealing with. I've literally had to. This is Jason. Jason was here the other night. Thank you so much, Jason, for this very heartfelt. And Jason seems to be a very, he's a real calm guy. He doesn't talk loud. I want y'all to hear what Jason has to say. Can y'all hear him? Hit the number 1 button if you can hear Jason when he comes up. I'm going to pull this up. Okay? Listen to Jason. And I'm going to put myself on mute. Listen to Jason, okay?
Kevin Samuels is one of a kind, and he spoke about so many things in his monologues, but some of the key points I took away from him were that to be the best version of yourself, how to dress better, how to value people and relationships, and that image does matter. And I think the most important one of those things were that life is about people, because he often said that. And that was something I never really understood before. But I think that's the special thing about Kevin, is he'd make you laugh and he'd make you think. And in the process, he actually expanded my narrow view of the world. And I just wanted to say thank you, Kevin. And I won't forget these lessons. Rest easy, Godfather. Kevin Samuels is one of a kind, and he spoke about so many things in his monologue.
What I'm trying to explain to you all, you saw that heartfelt statement. He said Kevin Samuels helped him expand his view of the world. That skinny dude from Oklahoma with the fancy suits and the cologne and the incense and whatever the hell he had behind him. These are all men of other cultures and other races. And there are women too. I couldn't even put this one in. This lady called, she's crying and she's in tears. Here's another one. I'm gonna let you see this. I didn't want to put this one up. I just didn't want to. The woman obviously.
My name is Raya. And how to be a better.
Let me let you hear. This is what this is what I've been receiving, right? And after looking over about 50 of them, I began to see a pattern. Okay. This is what I began to see. But are you guys following me here? Huh? Are you guys following me here? I don't think we truly appreciated what we had, folks. And now he's gone. And so, it's something that we need to deal with. And we have got to keep beating back these haters. This is a young lady. Shout out to you.
Hi.
Listen to this.
My name is Rada from South Florida. And I just wanted to give my incredible gratitude to Mr. Kevin Samuels for his unbelievable work that he's done all his life, but especially these last few years. I found him a little over a year ago, and I went on a binge of about 3 years worth of content within a few months. He changed my life. He saved my marriage. I did a video last year that he actually shared on his channel. And I've loved my husband since we were 14 years old. When we started out, he was only making $28,000, but he made it happen for me to be able to stay home the last 20 plus years and raise our 4 amazing children. In the last few years, he's been building himself up. He makes over 6 figures. God bless him. And Mr. Samuel's teachings were very important for me to understand how to handle a high value man, how to treat him, how to be a better wife, a better mother, a better person, and how to deal with all the women with the attention. He was already handsome and a bodybuilder, but now he had the money too. So it was very, very crucial. I was having like a midlife crisis, and I needed the knowledge that I got from Mr. Samuels. It tremendously helped me. It helped me realize how valuable he was and how much I owe him everything for sacrificing his whole life for me and for the children.
Do you hear the testimony of this woman? She's telling us how much she appreciates her husband now based on what she learned watching Kevin Samuels. Now she truly understands the value of her man. So, ma'am, Miss Michaels, I'm gonna make sure you get into these are all, and I got dozens of these, and there's so many I can't put them all in the presentation tomorrow. But this is who Kevin Samuels was to the world, family, brothers and sisters. Now, the cold part about it is that he technically belonged to us first, but you all are allowing these folks to throw him away. You're allowing these folks to disparage his name on television. You're allowing these folks to disparage this genius's name all over YouTube. I think we're making a mistake. I think this is a detriment to anyone who would want to step up in the future and try to give us the medicine that we need to heal us. And we don't have a lot of time left. It's not 1950. We're not stuck in segregation. We're not stuck together. We're free. So unless you give us a reason that's logical and reasonable to stay together as a group, and I'm talking to you black folks again, I know I got plenty of Kevin Samuels fans in here, and I know, but I'm speaking black right now. Kevin was trying to give us a reason to stay together because he recognized that we got about another 50 years before there is no more ADOS or FBA community. Everybody's already biracial and triracial, and more mixture and admixture happening. You got black folks running away from each other. Mumia Obsidian Ali, another the thinking, brilliant man who's a thought leader of this manosphere, has told you that the problem going into the 21st century is that black men and women don't get along. And he's right. It's true. You can't get around it. You don't get along. And apparently anybody that comes along that tries to chastise the lovely ladies so that, you know, we can begin to get along is vilified. What do you guys think about this? What are your thoughts? Let's open up the chat room and I want to hear what you guys have to say. And, you know, I don't want to get too preachy, but the Bible, when you read it, because I'm a Christian, shout out to everybody who's whatever you are. But as I read the Bible, I see a pattern that occurs as related to prophets. Okay? God always raises a prophet up amongst the people that need to hear the message of that prophet. Now, don't get too spooky with it. Prophet can be just a teacher, a great teacher. And I think we all can agree that Kevin Samuels was a great teacher. I mean, he cut through the air. You know, you heard him. You were gonna heed him. You were gonna hear him. You were gonna hear him. And he was raised up amongst us from those people up in Oklahoma, that same Oklahoma City. Y'all heard of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and all that, right? That's the state where he's from. The race riots in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Oklahoma City, that's the same state. I believe in his heart, Kevin wanted glory for his people again. You see? That's what I believe in my heart of hearts. But the link is in the chat room. I'd love to hear what you all have to say. Tell me I'm wrong. I want you black folks to come in here and tell me you're not divided on Kevin Samuels and that you actually truly appreciated him and that you're going to defend his legacy. I want y'all to come in here and tell me that, because I don't see it right now based on what I see in the press. Hit the KS button for Kevin Samuels. And we're going to keep talking about this. I don't care if y'all say, what do they say? I'm clout chasing. Yeah, we're going to keep talking about it. We're going to keep on talking about it. Y'all want me to talk about Amber Heard and Johnny Depp? Is that what you guys want me to do? That's not really something that's a court case. That's going to work itself out. I think Kevin Samuels fans miss him. And at the point where they don't miss him as much and they're okay, you know, then things will be a little bit better. But I want to get some folks in here. Where are the Kevin Samuels fans at? I want to hear what y'all have to say. Where the ladies at? Ladies, come on in here. You've heard what these men from these other groups are saying, and they're women too. Did they love him more than they loved us? I mean, did they love our Kevin Samuels more than we loved him? Did they appreciate him more than we did? Don't be shy. Ladies, I'm very polite and respectful in here. I want to hear some ladies. I want to hear what you ladies have to say. The link is in the chat room. And I want to read this article too. I want y'all to check this article out, because I found this to be very interesting. Okay? Y'all to check this article out right here. Okay? Now this is again from MSNBC, or not MSNBC, NBC. All right, so let's ease on down to it a little bit. Samuels rose to social media fame for videos like this with controversial relationship and dating advice. What was controversial about telling women to lower their expectations? Why is it that groups from other countries can recognize that that's not controversial? That's the same thing that people taught them. You see? That's the same thing their grandmothers, and that's the same thing their culture teaches them. All right, so Many whom were black. Well, let me see. Samuels rose to social media fame for videos like this with controversial relationship and dating advice, offering highly critical remarks about women. He also criticized men for his first 5 years. So let's not continue. Let's end that lie. Many of whom were black, determining their value based on their appearance, age, income, and number of children. And he's referring to social marketplace value. See, this is a real slick way. Kevin, your your sexual marketplace, how valuable are you to a man? Not how valuable you are as a human being. You see, this is a very slick and cunning way of trying to make it seem like Kevin was shallow or hollow, when in actuality, we know he was very in depth with his thought. You see, I had to sit here 3 hours and break down the term high value man. You see what I'm saying? So, let's continue. So and make sure you cam up when you come in, folks. Ladies, cam up. I'm not going to be as strict on your appearance as Kevin was, but cam up. I want to make sure we don't have any trolls in here. So so here's what happened. When the news circulated about his death at 53 last week, it sparked mixed reactions. The mixed reactions are amongst black people. The white folks and the Asians were like, oh, that was my guy. The Hispanics were like, oh, that was my guy. He was speaking the truth. I'm in New York, hanging out with Kevin, MTR, and lead attorney. And we walking down the street. Hispanic dude runs across the street. Hey, Kevin, man, appreciate your work, man. This is what he was doing. You heard you heard what that Hispanic lady said, who lives in another country. Y'all need to get therapy. So when they say mixed reactions, they're talking about black people. And here's what they're saying. On one hand, there were those who saw his viral comments as sexist towards women. No, that's just standard language that the matriarchy uses to try to shame black men into not speaking the truth. Anything you say is sexist. Thank God Kevin didn't care about that. He recognized that as a red pill man, that those were shaming tactics. That's what the manosphere is good for, right? He did his work, right? On the other hand, his many supporters saw Samuels as a reliable truth teller, and the critical reaction to his death was disrespectful. But you see how it's split, family? You see how that's split? But these other folks are unified in how they feel about him because they recognize what he taught was good for them. From fans to hate watchers, though, Samuel's appeal was his willingness to say what he wanted. However, he wanted to say it, said Julia Wadley, founder and CEO of Ellie Simon LLC, a personal matchmaking and coaching firm in North Carolina. Let's get everybody in here. I want to hear what you guys have to say. The link is in the chat room. Wadley saw many black men feel they were always blamed for why black men and black women can't have healthy relationships. Instead, she said, Samuels became known for laying his perceived blame, or was he speaking on behalf of all black men? All men actually all men, because all men are saying that no man is allowed to openly blame women for the issues. We know that, and that's why all you guys who are Kevin Samuels, hit the KS button. You all are going through some of the same issues that black folks have been going through, and so this should actually read, black men feel they were always blamed. It's all men feel they were always blamed for women who, if the relationship failed, right? But the bottom line is, in the black community, we weren't actually allowed to voice that. But what I'm saying is, family, there's a divide that needs to be dealt with. So, Miss Barbados, you can cam up, and then I'll bring you in. But first, I want to bring in Devin. Are you rolling weed?
No, brother.
When I catch you rolling weed, man, you are rolling weed, Kevin. Devin.
Catch me at the wrong time, brother. You always catch me at the wrong time.
Out here rolling weed, man. You one of my old. See, y'all don't understand something. Devin has been with me for since we were doing shows, Devin is a Navy guy, and I have a lot of
Air
military
Force,
guys
Air
in here.
Force,
And we,
brother, Air Force.
my bad. Y'all got to get there some kind of way, right? You got to get there some kind of way, right? Don't you use the Navy ships? See?
No, man, we fly and we get there much quicker.
Oh man. See, and let me
We also
take a point of
control the
personal
nukes.
preference.
Remember,
Let me
we
take-
control the nukes. All right.
Let me take a point of personal preference here. This is like a frat house. That's my fraternity. Okay? I mean, that is my group of guys. My core group of guys, that first 18,000, this is like a fraternity here. That sometimes they might kick their feet up, they smoking cigars. We talking about military. I
Yes,
get
sir.
a bunch of hoorahs, all sorts of stuff.
Arua.
I got truck drivers in here. We got all the blue collar guys on my page. This is a man's page. So I'm trying to get them to be a little bit more polite. I got better lights and a microphone. They didn't really care, but I know you KS fans, y'all are a little bit spoiled. Y'all used to, I might have to light some incense up back here some kind of way, but
It's a gentleman's club, right?
this is what we do here, man. But I gotta accommodate some of my my friends' children over here. You know what I'm saying? So we got to make room, man. But anyway, I want you to tell me, man. I'm interviewing all these folks, and I'm like, wow, this is a lot of people who I didn't even know knew Kevin, and like, woof, So I don't know, man. Give me a couple of minutes, and I'm gonna bring a few more people in here. What do you think about this?
Brother, unlike you, I didn't have the privilege of meeting Mr. Samuels, but he was actually born a couple of months after me, and that means that we are of the same generation.
Mm-hmm.
We were there from when the majority of our homes had the father present, to the state that we're in now, where the majority of our homes do not. And Kevin was, in my understanding, he was trying to reinstate the values that we have had. Remember, our values were not written down; these were orally past cultural traditions, right? That survived slavery and everything else. Our family structure and everything was something that was uniquely us, uniquely ours as Black Americans in this country. And Kevin Samuels was trying to reestablish that order. Why
was there so much pushback, man? That just sounds like common sense to me, man.
Yes, but because right now we are politically useful as a divided people.
Okay, I'm gonna leave you at that point because that's a great point to bring up. I'm gonna hang out in the waiting room. I'm gonna bring some other people in. Okay, cool. That's my guy, man. That's Devin. Devin been with me since day one, man. Hang on, I'll bring you in a minute. Make sure you hit the number one button. We got another gentleman in here, and Ms. Barbados, you're gonna have to show your face. I don't want any trolls in here. Welcome, sir. Pocket watching JT. Thank you so much, sir. So the question is, and I had a poll up, and it basically says this: who, did we love Kevin Samuels the most?
Man, it's a tough call. It's a tough call, but I would have to say, I would say yes, and here's why. Here's why I would say yes. It's because at the end of the day, the message is always.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Man, you smoking weed? I saw that, bro. I see you in there smoking weed, man. You smoking? Bro, look at you, bro. Bro, you embarrassing me in front of my new guests, man. You smoking weed, Devin. This is why we can't have nothing over here on my page, man. Devin is fine up the dro. I'm trying to.
I was in the back room, man. I was in the back room, man.
And you fine. We supposed to be in mourning right now, bro. That's what. See this. Anyway, man. I apologize, sir. I apologize, Mr. Pocket. Let me put him back over there. This is what I got to deal with, bro. This is
right.
I don't understand why didn't man Kevin and they was like your page should be like, you should have like 75,000 followers. But look who I'm dealing with, man.
Right.
Look, this is my group, man. This is what I attract. These are the people I attract, right? Kevin got people crying over him. I got dudes smoking weed and been in the Air Force, like, just fine it up. Like, what if I'll have something intelligent I want to, man, this is what I'm dealing with, man. Like, y'all got, this must be the hood version. This is the hood version of Kevin Samuels' channel. These are the guys I got. That's why he don't let dudes talk to him on his on his live, man. Look at this. Just fine. He go anyway. Sorry, sir. I apologize.
No, you good.
Sir. But let's try to maintain the decor. I'm gonna have to set up some rules in here about what we will and won't tolerate. But anyway, go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
The point that I was trying to make is at the end of the day, the message is always bigger than the messenger.
Yes,
and
sir.
For those who have an issue with the messenger, the message always outlives them. And I feel like with my core group of friends and the people that I know, they got the message. And the passing of Kevin Samuels is absolutely going to be missed. I mean, I never had personal direct contact with Kevin, but he personally gave me shout outs from his platform. Okay. A platform with over 1 million subscribers. He would tell people when they had like a financial question, he said, go check out Pocket Watching with JT. Like he didn't even know me, but the fact that he respected my content enough to suggest people to go check it out, that shows you that this brother, he wasn't a selfish person just trying to do something for himself, because he easily could have did that. He was someone that was trying to build something for the culture, and he was building something to help improve the image of the Black man in America. So ultimately, yes, we're going to love him the most. We love him the most because we're going to be the ones that are most impacted by the message.
I hear you, but that doesn't seem like, that's not what I'm seeing on YouTube and the internet and these news platforms. I see Black America divided. I mean, I see men being shamed for even mentioning that they listen to Kevin Samuels. So how can that be that we love him more when these other cultures are pretty much 80 to 90% sure they appreciate his teaching and his word? I mean, the math doesn't add up. What are your thoughts?
My issue is whenever you have something like this, the complainers, the people who don't like the message, they're loud. People who receive the message, they like the message, they're not necessarily going to be the loudest ones cheerleading it. They get the info, they respect it, and they act on it in silence. So while right now we may hear a lot of rabble from people who dislike the message, at the end of the day, there's far, far, far more people that actually received it, follow it. They just move in silence.
Well, JT, I can't tell, and the thing is, the optics. I think that's something that Kevin always talked about. The optics are that Black people are divided. That's why you have this report on Yahoo, right? That says there's a simmering debate between Black men and women. And it's almost like we're on the fence about it. That's the public report card. Whereas you got these white folks and these Asians and these Arabs. I mean, if I read you some of this, you'd be like, wow, where is this? He affected my life. This skinny Black dude from Oklahoma, right, with the high-pitched voice, is a lot of these people's father figure and uncle, because he's giving them advice. People know the truth when they hear it. It doesn't matter what package it's coming from. They knew the truth. And so, and I'm not, and let me say, he'll always be a Black American man, but are we, because we're pushing what he says, what he taught away, are we going to reap the benefit of it? I don't mind if other people reap the benefit of it, but are we going to reap the benefit of it? Because he was one of ours. He came up amongst us. Right. But, like they said, if you don't appreciate something, it go away, just like a good woman. You don't appreciate it, somebody else will. You see what I'm saying? And that's just something to think about, man, just something to think about. But we got another couple guys in here. I'm going to let everybody do a quick round and just hang out. We're going to have a big panel, and we're going to talk about this. Let me see who's up next. All right, y'all, if you're ready, come on, face the screen, turn the light on, and let's see. So Dr. Lott is up. All right, hey Doc, how you doing?
What's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
I can't.
I don't know. And see, here's my problem. If you got half the people that like you and half that don't, that's a positive and a negative. What happens when you get a positive and a negative together?
You're misinformed.
They cancel each other out also.
Right. Yeah.
And so, but you got these other folks, pretty much 80% of them. I've not heard any complaints from any white dudes about what Kevin Samuels was saying.
Yeah.
I had my son's Muay Thai instructor, who's also the jiu-jitsu instructor, ex-Marine, he says, I tell every young man I see that whatever color they are to go to Kevin Samuels' page. I listen to Kevin Samuels. I had my father, but he was missing, so I didn't get that information. This is somebody that this is a well-developed man of Asian descent, South Korea specifically, that I put my sons under his tutelage, and he's helped me bring them up to strong men. And this is somebody that I respect, and he listens to Kevin Samuels. The man, when he found out, because he saw me on the news here, when he found, oh, you're Kevin, it was like, wow, yeah, man. Yeah, and I'm like, wow, you don't even respond that way to me. So when I come in and give you my check for these lessons you're teaching these boys, So what I'm saying, and he said this man was a revolutionary. This guy, he's saying the same thing the other young man said. He's the most important black leader in the past 50 years. This is what these other races are saying about Kevin Samuels. But we didn't say that about him. Matter of fact, Doc, if you go say that right now, depending on the crowd you in, you'll get laughed out of. You might get stoned to death. Tell me I'm lying, Doc. Go ahead.
You're not lying, honestly. I can only say what he meant to me, honestly. Kevin Samuels, like many men say, before he even spoke to women, he spoke to men. You know what I mean? And it meant a lot to me to hear the things that he said. When you really thought about the things he said, he wasn't trying to detract from who you were as an individual. He was trying to reflect the mirror image of who you are now and where you should be at. I think that is what people are misunderstood about. And because of today, society being so sensitive, it creates an ambiguity. Everybody's so confused as to what is truth and then what is just, fluff, if you will. But I'm one that believes we should talk about marriage, right? We do need to engage in a community.
Yeah.
That's the next authoritative step that we can take. I think that we can pose a strategy to speaking about marriage and openly. And I think Kevin Samuels gave us the platform to do so. I'll say that.
Okay. Well, you know what I want you to do? I want you to check this out. I'm gonna let some more guys in here. Let me see what we got up ready. What's up, man? One of my old school guys has been here for a minute, man. Always good to have you in here, man. So, brother, man, I'm glad I'm glad you're not smoking weed.
That's why I came up. That's why I came up.
We talk about you, bro. We'll be back to you in a minute. But anyway, check this out, bro. I want you to see this. I ain't lying, bro. I want y'all to see what I've been dealing with. This is a couple from Jamaica. This is the Ricketts. I want you to hear what they have to say about Kevin. Okay, these are black folks, but they not from America either. Listen to what they have to say.
Hello, how you doing? My name is Mark. This is my wife Liz, and we're making this video especially for Kevin's mom, daughter, friends, and all the people who had the opportunity to be blessed with his presence. Over the years, I've watched Kevin, and Kevin has motivated me and given me the courage to quit my job 2 years ago, started my own business, and now making 6 figures plus. He's also taught my wife
how to be more feminine and inspirational to us.
One of the biggest things we learned from it, though, is how much when we're apart, the impact that it has to our community. So I will tell you this, I will be doing my part to make sure that Kevin Samuel's name lives on and his work lives on. So if you think it's over, oh no, we're just getting started.
Bro, you can hear the Bob Marley playing in the background. This is what other folks from other cultures think about Kevin Samuels, but we don't have a unified front on this man. You see?
No.
So I mean, talk to me. Where are we going here? You understand?
I mean, it falls right in line with how we shame success, right? And as a culture, I fall. Me. We've had this conversation that culturally it's a problem. And just as the things that he was trying to teach, and I'm gonna break it down myself later on, but the things that he was trying to teach, I think went over a lot of people's heads. And I think he was really focusing on the family primarily, and I said it in the chat, because of economics. It's the economics of the family that we need, you know, and I think people miss that part.
Why are we getting so much pushback? And we got a lot of guys in here, but look, guys, you're gonna have to cam up. I got to see your faces, you know. And if there any, I got to see your faces because we got trolls, we got all these folks. Okay, Chris Carr, I see you. Who else? I need to see some faces and some lights. I know Devin, I see you down there. I got somebody named
Smoking.
Arsenal King. You ain't coming in now. He good now. He's straight. He done got back to himself. But I need to be up. Miss Barbados, you want to come in? I need you to see your face. So what I'm saying, family, is like we're gonna lose him. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's gonna become something that he wasn't. He's gonna turn into another Martin Luther King. And what I'm saying is, like we get a Martin Luther King that really wasn't the Martin Luther King that Martin Luther King was, especially towards the end of his life. You see what I'm saying? So we're gonna lose him because we're allowing him to be taken away from us right before our eyes. Not taken away. What I'm saying is he's being pushed away by part of our group. And of course they're gonna pick him up. Just like some of you dudes start dating out because you weren't getting treated right at home. If we don't treat the legacy of Kevin Samuels right, and Kevin belongs to everybody. He himself says he belongs to everybody. So I'm not trying to have a blackety black conversation with y'all. His knowledge belongs to everybody, but what's gonna happen is we're not gonna reap the benefit of this black man who came from among us when related to families and men becoming men and being masculine, because we're pushing them away. We're letting these preachers push us away. We're letting these so-called black empowerment gurus push them away. We're letting these strong black independent philosophers push them away. And I don't say the F word because I don't want to get demonetized, right? But it starts with F and rhymes with minimalist, okay? And so my question is, you know, how we stop this? You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, let's go ahead and let a few more guys in here. Coffee Growth, how you doing today, brother? Oh, how you doing today, sir? Oh, you got to unmute yourself, bro. I know you got to unmute yourself, bro.
There we go. My bad. Yeah, it's Kofa.
We got to get,
those that don't know.
okay, Kofa. Say again, Kofa, okay. And then we got a gentleman, J Lock. How you doing, J Lock? How you doing today, brother?
Yeah, peace.
You got to unmute yourself, sir. I see you pointing your finger, man. I don't know what you're saying. You ain't saying.
No, my cousin over there, the one I was smoking weed.
Okay.
My one I was smoking weed over there, man. What's up, man?
No, we ain't having that. We ain't having that in here, man. Y'all cut that out, man. Y'all cut that out, man. And Devin up here, high as giraffe. I ain't gonna say it, man. Cut that out, man. We respectable up in here tonight. We got guests.
Hey, that's a thing. That's a thing in Chicago, man. When somebody homies die, whatever like that, somebody pass, they smoke up, roll up, or drink something like that. So.
We trying to be respectable up in here tonight, okay, fellas? We can't have the normal rules that we used to have up in. We
brothers, man.
All right, come on, man. Come on, man. Make me look good, man. Come on now, bro. You know. But let me say, who else we got in here? All right, we got 3 people here. We got y'all. If y'all don't, you got to cam up. I got to see your face, fam. I got to see your face. I got to see some cameras. All right, we got a sister here. Y'all be respectful and polite. We got somebody named Men in Training and Arsenal King. Arsenal King, you ain't gonna make it, bro. You ain't gonna make it. You got to cam up. Everybody got to cam up. But let's go ahead and start the conversation, man. The general question is, did we love Kevin Samuels the most? I'm saying no. Just because the demographics, it's only 40 million of us in the United States. Everybody didn't know about Kevin Samuels, and it looks like we at least 50-50 divided. Whereas when I take these polls from these folks who are not of the black, not black, they love white guys, Hispanic guys, Asian guys, Arabs. I'm getting letters, women, men, they love Kevin Samuels. What's up? Talk to me. Who's up? Give me, the floor is yours. Just talk, be polite. Go ahead, one at a time.
I just want to say this, man. God bless the repose of the soul of Kevin Samuels and my condolences to his family. My man transitioned at the peak of his career, and he exploded as a supernova. Okay, so his messages, actually, he was carrying more messages than one man should carry, and his messages are going to explode in every different direction, from the legal standpoint, from your direction, as well as the lead attorney's direction, and from the health standpoint, from my direction, and from and in many different directions of manhood. The black male heterosexual's voice will be heard in America. Right now, there is no political voice for us.
Nope.
So we have to stand for ourselves, and we've given
Bro,
ourselves.
it sounds like they trying to beat us back in the corner. You can't even say Kevin Samuel's name. You might as well be a heathen if you say you can't even say his name. You see what I'm saying? So,
But
we
you can
got
still tell them that there are six. You can still tell them that there are 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Well,
You know what I'm
I'm
I'm done with you, Devin. I'm done with you, bro. You right. You got another one in there. You probably got another one up in there, bro. But anyway, we got a young lady in here, Miss Show Me State. Is that Missouri or Michigan? Which one is it? The Show Me State? Is that Missouri or Michigan?
Missouri. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. So is he ours? If he is, why it seem like they're treating them better than they're treating them better than we do?
I tell you, our generation is in a state of rebellion. We got a lot of rebellion in our culture. And in the Bible, since you brought it up, and we can talk about the Bible, the Bible said at the end times people will not be able to endure sound doctrine. And Kevin was bringing sound doctrine to a new generation, and they didn't want to hear it.
Well, he was talking to the generation that he came from, that I came from, Generation X. So it really is not a new generation, huh?
And I'm Generation X too. I'm almost 50, and he affected me. I subscribed to Kevin and got mad and unsubscribed and resubscribed, but I had constant attitude. But at the end of the day, I didn't hate on him. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us need correction. Black women need correction. They just don't want to. They don't want to. Some of us are doing better. I think you guys are. I think the manosphere is making an impact. You're making an impact, and Kevin absolutely made an impact on me.
Yes, ma'am. And the fact that they're now calling it by name, it means it is. And basically what I've heard, this is what they say. First they ignore you, then they get angry with you.
Yep.
They got angry with us, and then they fight you, then you win. And I think we're winning. That's what I think. I want to get some guys who haven't said anything yet. I want to get some guys who haven't spoken. Blue Collar Bill, Chris Carr, J Lock. Who else hadn't spoken in here? We got another young brother, Men in Training. So, and then let me see, we got one more brother in here, Ben Israel, I believe. I hope I didn't mispronounce your name. Let me see here. Sir, how you doing? Oh, I can't bring him in for some reason. So you guys who haven't spoken, we'll start with Blue Collar Bill, man. What are your thoughts on this question? Do we love Kevin Samuels the most, or do they love Kevin Samuels the most?
If you go into the demographics and look, I don't know if the YouTube demographic shows or any other demographics that you might look into what it was per capita per race. I think you said it was 40 million of us over here in this country. Compared to other people, I don't know. That's a question I can't answer. But I will say this: he came along at the right time, and his message wasn't his per se. He was saying, he verified a lot of things that I looked around, because I'm 49, right? I've been through all of the stuff that he's talked about, and what he did was he shined a light on our conversation at a time where we're able to come out. Now, there's still a danger to doing that, So I guess the antidote to that would be to do, like you said, up level or level yourselves up to the point to where maybe we can support each other. You know what I mean? And not be subject to the cancel culture, stuff like that. And I'm trying to be careful what I
This
say.
young lady, here's the crazy thing, bro. This young lady right here, Queen, we just call her Queen Dee. She said the answer is definitely no. I initially hit yes from my perspective, not the perspective of the group. So basically, after listening to what I was saying, like Kevin is nation, he's worldwide. You know, he's worldwide, and now because of his death, has been magnified. And so other people are going to be listening to his philosophies and his teachings. And while we're rejecting them, they're going to be accepting them. And that's going to bring their culture together and make it more cohesive. Chris Carr.
Yes, sir.
The question is, did we love Kevin Samuels the most? Or do people from other ethnicities? Because those, let me tell you something. These Kevin Samuels fans who aren't black, they will not let you discount them. They will literally fight you all in the comment section about how much they appreciate Kevin Samuels. You understand what I'm saying? So I gotta hats off to all the Kevin Samuels fans, whatever color you are. You guys are dedicated. I wish. I mean, you're dedicated. God bless you for that. But man, how can we say we love them the most when there's more of them and there's than there is of us, and half of us look like we don't even want to say his name. I mean,
right?
Talk to me,
Mr. Sperling. What do you think the solution is?
Go ahead, brother.
Well, I was going to ask you. Besides continuing to make content, analyzing and studying what he, the body of work that he left us, what other way do you think that we could, what other things do you think we could do to improve his legacy or prevent those, haters from disparaging his legacy? What do you think we should do?
Well, strategically speaking, right now, the first thing we need to do is protect it over the next 6 months to a year till these yahoos go away.
Okay.
Until the truth we need to protect the narrative right now, because if you don't fight back these false narratives with correct and truthful narratives, then they're going to stick on that train into the future. Think about it. It's a train, and everybody's getting they got their little sticky tar time bomb or tar grenade, and they're throwing it on the side of the train, and it's pushing into the future. That's going to be part of his narrative unless we hit that with truth. So you guys got to fight. I'm just one dude, and I'm tired. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I enjoy fighting. If y'all have seen my community tab, you see I got the best comebacks.
You've been on it. You've been on it.
Yeah.
One thing
let me explain something right quick. Right? Tom Likas just came out against Kevin Samuels and said some very ugly things about him passing, and actually claimed that Kevin Samuels stole some of his material. But
I addressed that last night.
But I knew from even back in the Tom Likas days that Tom Likas, as being the first PUA, being the first pickup artist, white pickup artist, was actually stealing what we always had within Black American culture as simply being game or simply being a part of the culture of being a young Black American man.
I pointed that out last night when I talked about he was in the Bay Area. It was a lot of pimps in the Bay Area. That's where the game started. He picked it up. Like even the term simp came from one. I've heard any of y'all familiar with E40? I might be telling my age.
Too short too.
Too short, E40. He picked all that. I mean, he's a disc jockey, so of course he would hear these songs coming across the radio.
It was all to begin with.
Yeah, that's where he picked that lingo up from. But bottom line is, that's him. Everybody here in the manosphere, we respect Tom Likas, but he did not come up with terms like high value man, Blue Henry, all these different things. He has his place. You see what I mean? Just like all the rest of these guys who try to take credit for what Kevin Samuels did. Okay, they had a hot line. He made it a hot song. Okay, that's all I got to say. Right? Y'all remember that? Yep. They had a hot line. He turned that hotline into a whole concept and fed the nation with it. So y'all got to give him his credit. He did what you couldn't do. Yeah, you might have been part of creating it, but you didn't do that. You see what I'm saying? But I want to get some more guys in here who haven't spoken yet. Chris Carr,
yes,
J-Lock, Go ahead, brother. What is your thoughts, Chris Carr?
I want to first say I appreciate you having me on the panel, Mr.
Yes,
Sterling.
sir.
I've been watching you for a while. I found you through Kev. Rest in
Yes,
peace
sir.
to Kevin Samuels. He definitely will be missed. The question of do we love him more or the others? I definitely would say the others. Anytime I mention anything of Kevin Samuels, if I ask a question, I get so much pushback, man. So much pushback. And I ask basic questions on, things like, do people understand his message? Do you understand what he was trying to teach? And most people don't even understand the message that he was trying to get across to us. And he spoke to men first, and I came from the street, man. So I was able to identify with certain phrases that the manosphere would use, such as Pookie and Ray Ray phrases, because I came strictly from the street. So when I heard Kev talking about the responsibilities that men have to our communities, I think that made me look at reality in a whole different light, and it was due to Kevin Samuels, man. It was due to him, and he was a big reason that I started to look inside myself and want to do better for myself over those 3 years that he did talk to men. And then when he did start to talk to women, he enlightened my reality, because all the things that he mentioned, I could see on a daily basis. I could see these things transpiring over the years. And our people just can't accept truth. It's, truth will always be the same, and it doesn't mind questioning. And, lies, they mind questioning because they have to stack lies on top of lies. And, Kev came with truth, and, like they say, the truth hurts, man. And it hurt me at one point, like I said, from coming from Kev, telling me the responsibilities that I lacked. And I didn't, it wasn't a pushback. It was like, a pocket watch said earlier, a lot of men just took the information and moved in silence and fixed the things that we saw that were destructive. And that's what he meant to me.
Brother Dennis, can I pose a question?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please. And then we want to make sure we get J-Lock. I want everybody to speak. But go ahead, Doc. Go ahead, Doc.
So my question is, do you think it's due to fear that it's a possibility that we feel such way?
Please explain a little bit more, Doc.
Okay, so I'm not a specialist in social communication or anything like that. And actually, I was piggybacking off of what the man just said. Right, moving in silence. Could that be a cause of just fear? You know what I mean? Just fear in terms of the mindset, what other people will say to you when you even open up your mouth and say this man's name. You know what I mean?
Go ahead,
personally,
go ahead,
I'm so sorry, but
go ahead,
personally, I talked to my wife about him. I talked to my family. I talked to my pops, my moms about him, because what he's saying is so on point. It's so on cue. Our younger generation, we need to hear this type of stuff, and it's so on point that you brought this topic up, and it needs to be a consistent conversation that needs to be had. Honestly,
one thing I quickly wanted to say is you counterbalance bad thought with good thought. So in the same way they have the mechanisms of propaganda and things that they utilize to talk bad about KS, in the same way that we have the responsibility to, whether that's a video or like for me, I've had a couple people DM me trying to be spicy and talking, about his death. But in the same way, I'll just send him a video of something that he said that was honest and straightforward. Right. And you just counterbalance negative thought with positive thought. You have to stand on something. And you can't allow yourself to be ran over. And the only way that we're going to keep his legacy is by countering bad thought with good thoughts. And the dude spoke truth. So truth is always going to stand on its own, no matter what people say. So I'll send something right back. You say this, well, this is what he said. And then what are you going to say when you have truth in your face?
But the thing is, when truth gets knocked down, it only gets raised up if you got people who are willing to raise it up. So this young lady, I want to Miss History, hear my story. My email address is sperlingdennis@gmail.com. normally this page was dominated by men. I'd be more than happy to invite Kevin Samuels lady fans in here to come talk. You can just send me an email and we can set that up sometime, maybe in the next couple of days. Feel free to just send me an email. We'll talk about it via email, and then I'll invite you in, and you can invite other lady fans in here to talk. Again, keep it in mind, my page is predominantly men. There's men from all over the world, but we're welcome to have you in here, especially in this time of grieving. Now, we got somebody, J Lock, you've been quiet. What are your thoughts? I want to hear what you have to say, and then we'll kind of open it up a little bit more. I just want to give everybody a free shot to voice their opinion. J Lock, what are your thoughts? Did we love Kevin more than most? Than
That's
the
my
others?
cousin right there.
Who loved him the most?
That's my cousin.
I'll say, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, sir.
All right. I'll say majority of our people, of the men loves the most, and the other side, they full on. What's the word I'm trying to say? I take ownership, like our racism. As you say, that people come up to you and glorify him, and they cherish him. It's a say you're a Christian, right? Dennis Sperling, like you said.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
People hated Jesus and loved Jesus when he was before and after he got crucified.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that our problem. I messaged. I don't know if you remember, but I messaged you on Facebook about the situation about you having Kevin Samuels back, and some people don't do that when they homeboys, their friends is gone.
I know, right?
And I said,
I don't know him.
That's
I don't
me.
know who that is.
That's me.
Yeah.
But
well, man, that's just part of being a man, and I'm glad y'all here for that, and I'm glad we got guys here. That's part of being a man. What kind of punk ass dude would I be if I said you my homeboy, and then excuse me, my bad. When things
go
get
ahead,
tough,
OG.
I got to behave myself, man. We got guests, man. I can't.
Right.
Devin already got Devin smoking weed, man. He's probably blowing one right now.
Hey, man, it's the spirit flows through you, Dennis. Man, you've been balled up all day, man.
I'm blocking y'all, man. Don't do that. But he get away. He been here too long. So I but anyway, what I was saying was, man, if you call somebody your friend, you see what I'm saying? You don't leave your friend hanging. They not your friend then. And you shouldn't take yourself out of everybody else. If you a fair weather friend, you're not a friend. You see what I'm saying? You're an opportunist. You understand? I'm down with you. See, I'm the type of dude, man. If I say you my friend, that's my word. That's my word and that's my bond. I don't call everybody friend. But the thing is, man, this is what y'all got to understand. You want to know my motivation? I was depressed. I was sad. I was angry. You see what I'm saying? I was tired of living in the United States. You understand me? All I did was work and go overseas. And that stuff was playing out. You see what I'm saying? Because you get tired of being around 304s all goddamn day. Y'all seen have y'all seen the videos on the boat with 10 broads and 15 broads in the pool? I'm legendary for that. But that plays out, man. I got one lady right now, and I'm happy as a runaway slave. You understand me? She cooks, she cleans, she cooperative. And I found this woman because basically Kevin Samuels and Mumia Obsidian Ali begged me to join into that mix channel. They begged me to. I ain't doing that bull crap. Ain't nothing but a bunch of American women up in there anyway. And I joined. And then that was like July or June, maybe May when they asked me. I didn't join till October. Then next thing you know, man, I'm engaged. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm down with this dude, man. I'm living again. I'm happy, man. And a lot of y'all feel the same way. A lot of y'all went from having mediocre lifestyles to making six figures. Y'all went from dressing like vagrants on the street to saying, let me go and cop this suit. You see what I'm saying? A lot of you guys owe that. And so if this man meant something to you, if he really truly helped you in your life, you can't sit by while somebody dogging him out and bashing him like that. That's not how men are supposed to operate. I don't know what Kevin Samuels teaches on his page, but if you fuck with mine, I'm gonna whoop your motherfucking ass, and that's on everything. You see what I'm saying? And excuse my language, but I'm saying that's what being a man is about.
We all grown folks here.
Yeah, I know, but this is gonna be played tomorrow. I want children to be able to watch it. My kids is listening. They don't even know what the N-word is. They suburban kids, so I got to watch it. But what I'm saying, family, is that's if you claim somebody in life, man, you can't let people disrespect them. Man, if you in a gang, this on some street stuff. If you got people disrespecting your dead homies, that's grounds for warfare. Go to LA right now and try to disrespect Nipsey Hussle. Go cross his name out on the wall and see if you don't get blasted. You see what I'm saying? So you can't stand by like that, man. Like that's how I was raised. You stand by your people. You understand? Even hell, if they right or wrong, you stand by your people. Have y'all not heard that? And then you chastise them when you get behind closed doors. That's how men operate. And I don't care who run up. I tell my sons right now, if your brother is dead wrong, he done did something, you still make sure he come home at night. Now you can whoop his ass in the back room. You see what I'm saying? But when there's a fight, you gotta figure out, who do I want to see survive this conflict? Your brother's dead wrong. He been in a fight. Your sister, whoever, your mama, your daddy, that's your blood or that's your homeboy. You see what I'm saying? Who do I want to see survive this fight? And that's the side that you side with. You understand? I want to see Kevin Samuels' legacy survive this onslaught that's going to be happening for the next month or two. So whose side am I on? It's a simple question for me. I'm not that complicated. Street dudes understand this clearly. Dudes who've been in the military understand this. We might be dropped off in this country for the wrong goddamn reason, but I'm going to make sure my battle buddy gets home. You understand me? It's not about the politics. It's about this man's life. And when I look at Kevin Samuels' mom, bro, they're attacking his mom. They're attacking his sister, his daughter. You got some crazy ass little light-skinned girl talking about, that's that ain't got. Kevin Samuels' daughter is dark skinned. She about as dark as J-Lock up on here. You see what I'm saying? And you got this is what I'm trying to explain to y'all, man. And I can't attack everything, but that's my motivation, man. Because that was my friend, and it's real plain and simple. I ain't getting no money out of this. It's nothing else. You see what I'm saying?
You do it from the heart. You do it from the heart.
I done rambled on for too long. Let's go. Let's just start. Devin, what else you got to say? Then we're gonna go to Mr. Growth, Dr. Locke, J Lock, Chris Carr, Blue, Carla, back to Project 820, and the sister, Miss Show Me State. Devin, what else would you like to add to this conversation, bro?
Oh shit.
Devin is on mute.
Sorry. My brother, you hit it on the head. Kevin sparked a fire that's not going to be extinguished. Like I said, Kevin was a supernova. So he started an explosion that's going to go out into several different directions.
Yes.
So there are going to be brothers that are going to be taking different parts of Kevin's message and putting it out into different directions, right? I, being the person that's, about holistic health, I'm going to be going to, not letting toxic relationships tear you down. Now, I'm sure different brothers are going to be going into different aspects of Kevin's message. You know what I mean? And
you high as a motherfucker right now, Doc.
But he's speaking facts, though.
But he's telling the truth.
He's telling the truth, though. I'm gonna go in the holistic health, baby. It's gonna be pimping, baby. I'm good. And we go to somebody else right quick. We're gonna get back to you in a minute.
But am I lying? Am I lying? Am I lying?
You're not lying,
bro. Your face is shining. We got the back door open. It's nighttime, bro. Damn, Devin, but
I just got love from people.
Saturday night, huh? Saturday night, huh?
Let's go to Mr. Kofa. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What else would you like to add? How do we reap the benefit that the other groups of people are gonna reap? Like, here's this Australian lady. Australian ordinary white blue copy guy. Kevin Samuels showed me the way to get my life in order, get on the path to be the best man I can be. Thank you very much, Kevin. I've been getting all this, man. I'm happy for my man, Twilight Roach. Boy, you need to change your screen name, sir. You need to change your screen name. But think about that. Like, that should be every black man in America. He was ours, right?
Yeah.
Right. And I don't mind, and Kevin didn't mind anybody benefiting from it, but damn, shouldn't we be the ones benefiting from it the most? Like, shouldn't we embrace that? If it was good for them, why can't it be good for us? Go ahead, Mr. Growth.
Peace, everybody. I go by my name is Sankofa, but I just go by Kofa. It's easier for everybody to say and remember. But yeah. So going back to your original question, I agree with you. No, we don't love him as much. I've had too many conversations prior to his passing with people that just hated him based off of clips.
Yes.
But I often remind people, brothers and sisters, unfortunately, I got to talk to grown ass men like that. But it wasn't that we were listening to Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels had been listening to us. All he did was
bars.
He hit it on the head, you know. It is something I shared. I was on Dr. Tia San's page as well. Something I shared with him. It's not that we were listening to him as far as listening, like following every word that came out of his mouth. He had been listening to us. And what he did for me, he confirmed a lot of stuff I had been thinking since, I guess, my 20s.
Yep.
And I thought I was crazy. He confirmed that I was not crazy. So that being said, it goes back to what you said. We're going to have to combat that with when people are talking. I've been going all week. I tell people I have a cigar a day at least. I want to smoke. So I've been going back and forth with people all week on these pages. And the other thing I want to leave with brothers, the fact that Kevin died in his mid-50s. We often hear with black men die in our mid-50s that, oh my God, he was so young.
Yeah.
So if he's young, if we're young and dead at 55, then while you're living and breathing at 40, stop listening to this BS narrative that you got a foot in the grave. There's so many of us that get told that just because I just recently turned 40. It's like, oh, your thing don't work no more. You're overweight. Your back hurt all the time. And I tell brothers, bro, stop saying that stuff. Stop saying that, because brother Kevin kept it 100 as far as his health. He did not hide the fact that he survived cancer, that he was still working on himself, that he was still a martial artist, things like that we tend to forget about this brother. And going back to another point you had made about us continuing to fight for his legacy, I'm sure most of us are familiar with The Wire, but one of the biggest lines out of The Wire is, even if it's a lie, we fight on that lie. But
Shout
right
out
now,
to O'Shea Duke Jackson, by the way. Go ahead, bro.
shout out to O'Shea. But right now, we're fighting for the truth. So we can fight on a lie, like you said, and come home and check your brother when you get back to the house.
Yeah.
When you make it out of the war, then you keep going when he's gone, when he's dead wrong.
Yeah, and I want to make a public statement, man. Let me just go ahead and do this right now, man. O'Shea Duke Jackson has been right there with me, behind the scenes, helping every which way he can, help Miss Beverly, and Caitlin, and Jeff. This is far too complicated for them folks. You understand me? So O'Shea Duke Jackson been right there, man. You understand me? I mean, that's a stand-up. I didn't have to ask him for nothing. He just heard, hey, I got you. O'Shea the type of dude, he see you, you don't have to ask him. That's shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson, man. Straight up.
Shout out to
I
O'Shea.
appreciate you, man. He is he is the heartbeat of the black manosphere. He's a heartbeat. The man works hard, but he's still making time. Shout out to O'Shea, man. Like, and no disrespect to nobody else, man. Everybody doing their part. But O'Shea really stood up and helped me stand in the cut and deal with this, man. Even the pushback on these negative narratives, it's been O'Shea right there. I like somebody who know how to choose sides. You understand me? And the fact that he was born in Linwood, California, right there, straight over there next to Inglewood, down the street from where I'm from. He know how to put his feet in the ground and stand with you, man. Shout out to O'Shea. I appreciate somebody that can choose sides. You see what I'm saying? Especially in a time of conflict. So that's it, man. But man, God bless you, O'Shea, man. And I'm gonna make sure I tell Miss Beverly everything you did behind the scenes, that you don't, ain't nobody trying to get no credit for nothing. What we do for Kevin, we do for Kevin and his mom. But man, I'm gonna tell her exactly what you did, man. So shout out to you for that. I just want to take that shout out, man. But anyway, brother, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead and
No,
finish
all
what you're
good,
saying.
brother.
Okay, and
I just want y'all to keep. I just want you, MTR, lead. I watched all that. I watched the episode you had when you had his best friend Jeff on,
yeah,
and when he talked about the plans Kevin was making when he was putting y'all together to spread through the rest of the manosphere, to get that black-owned male media going. I just humbly ask you guys to please keep going. He's one of the reasons. All you guys that I just mentioned, Dr. Tia-san, O'Shea, all you guys are the reason I started out my podcast in January. I just appreciate y'all brothers, man. But again, it's not just because black men listening to Kevin. Kevin had been listening to us. And even if it's a lie, you fight on that lie. But right now we fighting for the truth.
Praise God. That's what's up. Dr. Locke, man, you up, man. Then we're gonna go to J Lock, Chris Carr, Blue Collar Bill, back to my man
I
Alvin.
forgot to tell you, don't forget Crimson Cure. Crimson Cure also was on Kevin's side also as well.
I don't know her, bro. I'm sorry. I know O'Shea, Duke Jackson. I don't know all these people in the manosphere. You understand? I know who helped. I know I had something I needed to do for Miss Beverly, and I know who helped me out with no questions asked. You understand me? And shout out to Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Jeff, this is Jeff. Thanks for all you've done for my mama Beverly. That's Jeff right there. That's Kevin's best friends, and you in the chat room. What's up, Jeff? Oh man, shout out to Jeff's fiance. Me and Jeff done talked more on the phone in the past week, man. I done talked to him more than I done talked to some of my own family members, man. But anyway, but go ahead, Doc. What you want to add to this, man?
Man, ain't nothing. First of all, shout out to Jeff. Shout out to you, Dennis. Shout out to MTR. Like my man just said up there. Shout out to my dude. Shout out to all you guys. I've been following all the content. I love it. Who's heard of this song called "We Cry Together" by Kendrick Lamar? Have y'all heard of that yet?
Y'all probably heard of it, yeah.
Okay, so I recommend y'all take the chance to kind of listen to it. It starts off with a dispute between the black woman and the black man being Kendrick Lamar. And it kind of represents where we're at in today's society. You know what I mean? We can't get along. We argue, we fuss and fight. And it's sad. You know what I mean? It's bitter, and it leads to destruction. I just want to say this. When Kev died, definitely hit home for me. And it opened my mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like, he taught so much, like, in terms of how to dress, how to, like, what colognes to purchase. These are things that, I didn't really have an open mind to. Like, I knew how to put on a suit and tie, but how to actually switch it off, be casual, certain things like that really, really got to me. You know what I mean? Things like, just how to apply yourself, so that you can enter in your field, keeping yourself groomed, and not being afraid to actually walk into a room full of doctors. I'm a chemist. I have my PhD in chemistry.
Okay, congratulations on that, brother.
I flipped it and I went into IT.
Wow.
But because of Kevin Samuels, he opened my mindset to make me realize that I don't have to be afraid of going into different rooms and being the only black man in that room. I don't have that fear anymore. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. I made business goals, right? I got a couple business goals. I got a couple life goals, financial goals, just so much stuff. Like, I brought 3 suits just recently. You know what I mean? And I made the mark to invest in myself. And that's really what he carried into me. And I just salute that brother and salute all of you for continuously keeping his message alive. I really
Yeah,
appreciate
and tell all them haters, man, we gonna keep talking about him till we don't feel like talking about him no more. I don't care what y'all say. Shaming tactics don't work on red pill men.
Roger
You
that.
understand that? We're gonna keep talking about him because think about it. Kevin carried the manosphere message into mainstream media. Like, this is what we want. BGS Idmore will tell you this is what we wanted. We wanted our voice to be heard. I'm gonna sit down with one of, I'm not gonna say the name because I don't want to spoil it. I'm gonna sit down with a senator in the very near future, and I'm gonna have a conversation with him about some men's rights issues we've been dealing with. I'm also gonna have him a conversation. I'm also gonna have a conversation with him about reparations. Now, I'm not gonna attack it the way a lot of you. I'm not gonna scream and holler, and I'll give you a preview. Those of you guys who saw my broadcast last summer when I was in the Dominican Republic, the first place that slavery started in the Americas, I gave a long 3 or 4 week lecture about reparations and how our African ancestors, those kings and queens that rule those nations, made deals with those European countries and reaped a benefit from allowing them to sell us over here into the Caribbean, into the Americas, into South Americas. Those nations, those kingdoms no longer exist. But just like a business, if you take over a business, then you take over that business assets and what? Its debts. So that means those corporations, those countries that took over those kingdoms, took over what? Not only did they take over the land and the people and the assets, but they also took over those debts. And they owe us something. They owe ADOS, FBA, Caribbean descendant. We always look to these Europeans. We always look to these banks. But see, it all started in the motherland. It all started in Nigeria and Ghana and Senegal and South Africa and the Congo. They moved us out and they took over our tribal lands. So they owe us for that. You see what I'm saying? And there is a way in which we can get our money. All it takes is a change in the law to allow us to sue them for that. This is America. What are they going to do about it? We get the law changed. We file our suits. We trace our ancestry back to whatever ship our people came on over, and we get our reparations. And some of y'all might be hesitant because you're like, oh, well, you know, that's our African brothers. We can still be brothers after we get our money. I mean, I still love you, bro. I just want my money. You understand what I mean? We love you, brothers. We love you, but we want our money. It's not personal. It's just you owe us this debt. We want our money. So I'm gonna talk about that. But you know, and that's a little sidetrack, but we're gonna deal with that. You see what I'm saying? And so somebody said FBA is suing Africa. No, we're not suing Africa. We're suing the nations that took over the kingdoms that sold us that had deals with the European corporations. I mean, and kingdoms that sold us into slavery. That would be, those nations would be encompassed in what is called right now Nigeria and Ghana and Togo, Benin. And you know, I know y'all think some of us black folks are ignorant, but we know some stuff. We know geography. You know what I'm saying? And we know what a bank is, and we know what the courthouses are. And that's about it. You see what I'm saying? That we need to know for this. And we know how to talk to our senators. This is something I feel is important. But enough of that. I wanted to get back to the conversation, man. Thank you, Dr. Locke. J. Locke, you back? Okay. J. Locke, what else would you like to say? Because I want to try to get everybody in here. Oh, and I can't get. Okay, there you go, J. Locke. J. Locke.
No, you can.
Chris Carr, what you got, man? Go ahead.
Well,
go ahead, Chris.
Statement. Like I said, I just wanted to say how much Kev will be missed and his message will continue to live on. Brother earlier said, you know, how he's going to attack one aspect, and you know, over this time, I have seen a lot of people, you know, attacking you know, different aspects of his message, and I think it'll continue, and it's something that needs to be had. These conversations need to, you know, continuously take place, and I want to thank you, Mr. Sperling, for, you know, you stepping up and, you know, carrying it the way you're carrying it, man. And I just want you to, you know, just keep doing your thing. And we definitely appreciate you, man. We gonna miss Kev, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna miss him too, man. He's a brilliant guy. Like, I don't know if y'all know this, but I like what Kevin stood for. You see I don't follow men. I follow game plans. I follow the idea. I like the concepts. I like what the man stood for. You see what I'm saying? It's plenty of dudes running around here with nice suits on and cologne. I respect what the man stood for.
Right.
You see what I mean? That's why I was with him. That's why I flew up to New York. I like what you stand for. You stand for black men being better men. You stand for a strong black community. Right. I had to respect that. You see what I mean? It's a lot of leaders we never met, but you like what they stood for. That's why you follow them. You understand? So recognize what he stood for. Follow that. Separate whatever you. And let me tell you something else, man. Don't let them besmirch this man's character like he had to be a saint for his language, for his message to be true and correct. Because we got a lot of black leaders in history that, and I'm not saying anything about Kevin, but Kevin admitted he what did he say? He brought some kind of escort to one of his business functions. I'm like, man, you gonna say it like that? But he said it proudly, and I respect that. But then look at the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I love him. I always mention him. He had a whole bunch of younger women that were having children with me. Martin Luther King, allegedly, he had it going on outside of, but we don't separate that's his private life. Let's look at the message. Right. Because you don't see folks from other ethnicities separating. I mean, look at Thomas Jefferson, horrible man, but he's the founding father of this country. Look at George Washington, owned slaves, did everything slaves did. Hell, look at some of these leaders from these other countries. Look at Putin right now. You see what I'm saying? Horrible man. But look at all these other leaders around the world. But they appreciate the message. They appreciate that they can separate that and recognize that this message stands on its own. So don't destroy the message because you don't like the message. But anyway, let's go to my man Blue Collar Bill, then back to Alvin, and then we'll go to Miss Show Me State. Go ahead.
Mr. Sperling, I appreciate you having this live stream. I appreciate everybody who was on the panel. I just want to say this, and then I get off the stream. A man dies twice, once physically, and once we stop talking about him and have him in our memory. I think it's up to all of us to determine exactly how he'll be talked about. And that's a battle we're going to have to fight for a while. But lastly, I'm a Star Wars fan, and Obi-Wan Kenobi said something to Darth Vader before he struck him down. He said, "You can't win, Darth," and replace Darth with those haters and detractors. "If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine." Peace out.
Appreciate that, bro. Thank you so much, man. Alvin, man, talk to me, bro.
Well, I think all these everyone hated we're feeling all this vitriol because Kevin gave the 51 to 54% black men, he gave us permission to stand up straight. And I think a lot of people are threatened by that, and they want to snub that off like right away. They've been training us to tolerate baby mamas. They've been training us to tolerate the back talk. They've been training us to tolerate all the shenanigans and the thought culture. And Kevin said, no, that's unacceptable. And I think that they didn't realize how many people, us, black men, were supporting that message. And I think that part of the reason why he grew so fast, because there was that wait a minute, there's enough of us that sat back and said, no, listen to what this man has to say. Now, if you go back, and I've been going back, and you look through his catalog over the last 6 years, you will find a path. And he was trying to say something with his work. And I think that we should all really go back and look and pay attention to it, because there was more there than people even know now. He was working like he knew that his days were coming to an end.
Man, I appreciate that, man. That's, and it's like he was in a rush,
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
screaming, hey, I get it. I see that,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Wow, very insightful. Thank you so much. Miss Show Me State, what are your thoughts? It's just you and I up in here. All right. Go
Counselor,
ahead.
thank you so much for allowing me to be on the panel. In closing, I do want to say, first, it was by divine intervention that Kevin brought you, TLA, and MTR on stage with him together at the time that he did, because you three are the only tributes that I even have watched, because I figure if he lifted you brothers up, then you guys had a real relationship. All the rest of that fluff, I haven't paid any attention to. But when I think about Kevin's work, I think about the harvest is ripe, but the laborers are few. Kevin put in the work, and there is forever a conversation now that will be had between men and women, between us, about what we need to do to break this, whatever it is, Willie Lynch syndrome up off of us, a black man against the black, to break this fatherless, the effects of the fatherlessness. A lot of men are angry with their mothers for whatever reason. It's time for us to get to a place of healing, get to a place of wholeness. And that's how he affected me, because in my first marriage, what Kevin did was he gave a language. He defined things in bullet points. For years and years, you would hear people just
Right.
dismiss things. Oh, your mama crazy, your grandmama crazy. But no, Kevin said, no, you're uncooperative, you're unfit,
Oh,
you're not pleasant to be around. He broke it down. And
right.
I love that about his message. And that's where he
Yeah.
impacted me, because I learned, I was 21 when I got married, but
Yeah.
I was uncooperative. I didn't know how to submit and things like that. And I was, so he really made me reflect. He really did, to sit down and look in the mirror and think. So when my next husband comes, he won't have those problems. But the bottom line is, Kevin has set a trajectory in all of our lives and minds who watched him, to not only look at the mirror, self-reflect about our own actions and how we're affecting our environment, but how to bring some self-correction to our behavior. So that's all I wanted to say in closing. God bless you, brother, for honoring him and protecting
Yeah.
his family, and helping us to also help grieve him, because I watched MTR's tribute and I was just crying, because he played one of his songs, and I mean, it was just beautiful. And so I appreciate you guys. Black man, to the black women who are making the correction, we apologize. Can I apologize on behalf of us who actually are trying to do better? And
Hey,
so,
that's a beautiful step. Yes, ma'am.
oh
I
yeah,
accept the apology.
well, yeah, because it's necessary. And so, you brothers, be blessed, and thank you so much for having me today.
I appreciate that. And just the thing is, so you guys can understand, there was a reason. See, I didn't learn this until I started talking to Jeff. Kevin carefully examined our character and our work, and he researched us and he listened to us. And when I say us, I'm referring to lead attorney, who's an attorney, practiced law for about 20 years over in Georgia. MTR, and you guys don't know this, but MTR is a brilliant, I think he has high level degrees in, I think, engineering or computer science. So he's brilliant. And of course, myself, not only do I have one law degree, I got 2 law degrees and a perfect score on a bar examination. And I built my own law practice. And so what Kevin was looking for was men who have become independently successful outside of YouTube, who've built their own life and are, what did he call it? LinkedIn, whatever, LinkedIn level, but who've actually built their own businesses outside of YouTube, who are intelligent and who do YouTube on a daily basis. Because see, the thing that's impossible, because I got some folks around me, some white guys I work with, white ladies I work with, they do class action cases. They don't even get YouTube. They don't even think there's any money. They think people are just playing on the internet. You see what I mean? They don't realize how much money. So what I'm saying is, it's impossible to convince someone who doesn't do YouTube on a daily basis that there's actually any money in this. They don't see it. If you try to go out and say, man, I know a guy named Kevin Samuels, he made $10 million last year. They be like, what? On doing what? On YouTube? Like, no way. They'll never believe you. You have to be in it to understand it. And the deeper you get in it, the more you realize how much money can be made. Kevin he understood. Like he had this whole algorithm thing figured out. I'm a novice. I just been playing on here for about a year and a half because, I got a real job. And I'm like, I just come on here to talk about history, basically talk about the stuff I want to talk about. Jay, Alvin to tell you, we talk about all kind of wild stuff on here that nobody else wants to listen to. You see what I mean? But now, like I said, I'm having to adapt. But that was the criteria. So Kevin chose his friends and his colleagues, just like he chose his cologne, only the best. And so when you see me, MTR, and lead attorney, that was the best that he found in the manosphere on YouTube. And, it shows. Look at our character. Look at how we're standing on his side. They're broadcasting, they're taking the hits. All of us are catching hell from these struggle streamers. Now, I told y'all I'm gonna go ahead and drop some paperwork on them in a minute. Me, YouTube, and these federal courts and these state courts are gonna get after them. But right now, I'm just dealing with this. But I just wanted you guys to have a little insight as to how he came about, reaching out to us. But he studied us well. I didn't even know. Damn near spooky. I didn't know I was being investigated like that. Like, are you the child support police? Like, are you the IRS? Because that's who I'd be worried about, the goddamn IRS. All right. But anyway, thank you so much, ma'am. I think we got everybody in here. Look, let me go ahead and put y'all over here. And we are at 2 hours. Hit the KS button. I want to give y'all a preview tomorrow. We're going to have the memorial. And it's going to be really good. I'm really looking forward to it. We got some great guys coming through. O'Shea Duke Jackson will be here. Of course, BGS Ibmore is scheduled. In addition to that, we got some surprise guests coming in. Who else? The lead attorney will be here. Obsidian will be here. Let me see. I'll make sure I get everybody. We're going to have a panel. We're going to talk about some very interesting subjects. Where are we going next? Because, if you don't know BGS and you don't know Obsidian, you truly don't understand where Kevin Samuels, where he got that knowledge of that red pill knowledge from. You see what I mean? Like, you too could be the next Kevin Samuels. You got to listen to the people, the thought leaders. It was Mumia Obsidian Ali that first coined the phrase, the problem going into the 21st century is that black men and women don't get along. That was in 2018. I heard him. That was 4 years ago. And here we are, not getting along. You see? So these guys will be here tomorrow and they'll be able to predict and tell you where it's going. I appreciate y'all, man. Who loved and hated Kevin Samuels more, us or them? Well, the poll reads as follows. This is what the poll says, and you guys are looking at it. It says, did we love Kevin Samuels the most? 83% says yes. 17% says no. Even though that poll says that, the facts don't bear it out. We're divided as to how we feel about Kevin Samuels. We're divided. And that's truth. Can we agree to that?
Absolutely.
We're divided, and everybody else is 80 to 90% certain that they like the man. That tells me what? They liked him more. That's just the numbers. Percentage-wise, they liked him more. So what do we do with that? Well, what we understand is that if we push this man away, his legacy, we push his mind away that he left us in the form of his intellectual property on YouTube, then somebody else is going to pick it up. You see, there was a while we didn't like our dark skin. And guess what happened? Now you got white girls, Asian girls, the Kardashian clan, they're out there getting tans. Our ladies were ashamed of their big derrieres. And now you got women flying all over the world to get those same derrieres that black women had. Whatever you push away, these other folks see value in it. We pushing Kevin Samuels away, you can't even say his name, right? And I can't blame them. Look, white folks, Asian folks, Hispanic folks, Arab people, Arab folks, you're welcome to it. It's our fault if we don't appreciate the prophets and the teachers that come up from among us. It's our fault. It's a hard lesson that we're going to have to learn. Even if Kevin Samuels was perfect, we'll still find a reason to not accept his message because it was painful to hear and it will require some change. That's the problem. And unfortunately, and I've said this on numerous occasions, since Kevin Samuels is before he passed away, he's the first man that I've met that's been brave enough to speak to Black women and tell them exactly what they needed to. He was the first one. Tall, skinny dude from Oklahoma, brave enough to speak the truth. Not our comedians. They beat around the bush. Not our politicians. Definitely not these pandering preachers. You see how they are. And definitely not these so-called fight the power Black powerites. They don't tell the truth to these women. Everybody who's supposed to do it didn't do it. And here comes this image consultant who's saying, this is how you look. And this is why you can't get the man you want. And I'm telling you the truth. And they balked and they were angry with him. So are we going to let those women force this diamond mine of information away from our community? Because otherwise it's just another L. That's what you guys are looking at. We got 49, 50 years left as what is called ADOS, or Black Americans, before we're subsumed by all these other African folks who are coming over here to this country, admixing it. But before your sons and your grandchildren are not going to look like you. They're going to look like they some Arabs or some Puerto Ricans or something. They are not going to look like you. At the direction that we're headed right now, the community that we know as the Black community right now is dissipating. Kevin was trying to fight against that. These Black powerites that's telling these women what they want to hear. These panderers, these preacher panderers are telling women what they want to hear. They're not here to help you. If they were here to help you, they would have helped you by now. They're not. This is what y'all are dealing with. There's not going to be any more prophets to come up. Kevin was from Generation X. That's the last group of Black folks that were really down and believed in Black love. These millennials don't give a damn. And these little young boys, the Zennials and the Alpha generation, they grow up dating out. Go talk to some middle-aged boys and ask them what they think about little Black girls. Ask little Black boys what they think about little Black girls. You probably got some boys in your house, your cousins, nephews, cousins, sons. They'll tell you exactly what they think. We don't get along. Kevin was trying to show you why we don't get along and help you get along. And we ran him off. God took him away from us. That's what I'm saying. Man worked himself to death, 23 hours a day. This is where we at. So y'all think about that, man. When I asked the question, did we love Kevin Samuels the most? My response is no, we didn't. All these other folks. Shout out to all the Kevin Samuels fans around the world. Hit the KS button if you from around the world. All Kevin Samuels, white fans, Asian fans, Latino fans, Arab. Hit the KS button so these Black folks can see how much y'all love him. Go ahead and hit that KS button. Show these Black Americans how much you love Kevin Samuels. And hopefully that will cause for them to love Kevin Samuels more, because sometimes, and my grandma used to say this to my grandmother used to say this to her daughters and her granddaughters. A man never looked so good as when he was on the arm of another woman. Sometimes we are going to have to look at all these folks. We're going to have to see Kevin Samuels' philosophy helping and benefiting people from other cultures and races before we truly appreciate it. Look at all these folks in here. Look at all these white folks and Asian folks and Arab folks hitting the KS button. This is who his fan base was, brothers. And this is our brother, and we can't even defend him from these lovely ladies. Latinas, white. Look at the KS button being hit. All the Kevin Samuels fans from around the world. Hit the KS, just the ones who are not Black. China is checking in. China's checking in for KS, man. Ukraine, y'all at war, and they still checking in. You understand what I'm saying? But this is a lesson learned, you all. I hope y'all appreciate this work. I hope you appreciate what I'm doing. And to all you haters, I'm gonna keep doing it. Straight up. I'm gonna keep talking about this until I feel like stopping. You understand me? And that's how it's gonna be, because that's what real men do. You can't stop me. You ain't figured that out yet. Ain't nothing gonna stop you. You can say what you want to say. Anyway, man, I love y'all. God bless y'all. Shout out. I see y'all tomorrow at the Memorial. Big shout out to BGS Ibmore, O'Shea Duke Jackson, MTR, and lead attorney Obsidian. And it's gonna be a good thing tomorrow. We're gonna have some special guests come in. But other than that, man, this is Uncle D, man. I love you guys. And as I always say, man, this is Uncle D, man, and I'm out. Devin, if you still looking, man, I can't believe you was smoking weed in my broadcast, bro. That's terrible.